Good morning, my friends. This is how I start my day. Look at that. Would you look at it? Just look at it. All right, friends, we are going to do a reaction video today to SRV, better known as Stevie Vaughan, to the Secret Soundcheck 1989. Okay, this is a popular video. Had well over 2 million views, and it's just him. Looks like he's in the studio before they were doing a recording, checking some stuff, and he's running through some licks and some playing. Now, guys, I want to just tell you guys something about myself. Of course, I am a musician aficionado. I'm also a little bit of a movie enthusiast. Not kind of some of the bad stuff that's out now, but like the classics. So one of the things I like doing in my spare time is I like going to pawn shops. Not porn shops. Get your minds out of the gutter. And what I like to do is, of course, I look for musical instruments and music equipment, see if there's any good deals, any good buys. But also, I have a DVD Blu-ray collection that is absolutely ridiculous, okay? But I like to get the deals, okay? So, all the Prince fans out there that are on my channel, I told you the story about I was out for a drive back in the fall, and I stopped in the middle of nowhere at a garage sale, and I think I got this Purple Rain in great condition. Look at that. Just look at it. Would you look at it? I got it in great condition, and I got it for like, I don't think I even paid $1. I think I might have paid 50 cents Canadian. Canadian for that, okay? So if you're not sure what that means, 50 cents Canadian is equal to about half a cent in American currency. Okay. Anyway, so on the weekend, I was out and about and traveling through a town. I was on the road doing a bit of driving in the not so great Canadian weather, but my God, we're moving our way through March. So hopefully, you know, the nicer weather's coming. But anyway, I did a massive SRV score at this pawn shop. Can you see that? Look at that. Here, we're going to focus right in on that, okay? We've got the lighting right there. Let's focus. SRV, famous concert. Stevie Vaughan and Double Trouble, live at the Elmo Combo. So this was, what, 1983 in Toronto? I got it on DVD for a couple of bucks. And I remember thinking, for guitar players, this is a collector's item. I don't want the pawn shop owner to know that because he'll charge me double. So he might charge me $4. Anyway, Stevie Ray Vaughan, live at the Elmo Combo. Mine. I have it now. So I like to get scores like that when I go out and about. Someday, I will show you guys my DVD. Well, you fancy camera, keep me in focus. I will show you guys my DVD collection. I got a lot of music DVDs as well. And, but I only get good stuff, man. There's a lot of crap out there now. Movies and music. But anyway, let's get going on this here for all the SRV fans, guitar fans out there. Stevie Vaughan, the Secret Soundcheck, 1989. What were you doing in 1989? Well, I was playing a bit of guitar. Playing hockey. Going to school, sometimes. Was in high school. But anyway, moving forward. Let's see here. Did you see that there? Mr. SRV has only a few pedals, okay? I've got something that usually gets rid of the buzz in here, but as you can see, it's in here. So he's getting a lot of buzz there. Now, for you guys that aren't familiar with the guitar, he's got single coil pickups in that guitar. So if you're running a bit of overdrive, a little bit of distortion, especially if you're standing closer to the amp, single coil pickups tend to buzz a little bit more, okay, than humbuckers. So anyway, or he's got a bad connection somewhere, something going on. But that's my guess, okay? He's he'd have some good people helping him out there, so I don't think it's that. I think it's just the single coils run a bit of overdrive. So, but we know probably whatever he's going to do is going to sound amazing.
Somehow I'm building up stuff with electricity.
Phenomenal clean blues tone there, eh? A little bit of raunch to it, not much, but so this isn't a live performance. It looks like he's just getting ready in the studio trying to get a certain tone mic'd to the soundboard that they like and that they're happy with. So another thing with Stevie Ray Vaughan is, you know, he's Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know, he's 1 in a million or 1 in a billion. But I can also tell by listening to him play the gauge of his strings, he would have used a heavier gauge. I can tell by kind of the meat and the sound. So I'm pretty sure he tunes down a half step, for those of you that know what that means. For those of you that don't, the most common tuning in guitar is called standard tuning, but then they have what's called a half step down tuning. A lot of bands tune that way. It sounds a little heavier. If you're singing, it's a little bit easier to sing. It's a little bit easier on your voice, especially if you got to perform a lot. The gauge of guitar string, okay, going by what's the thinnest, the high E. Many years ago, I used 9s. Okay, they're like one of the thinner, commonly the thinner brand or the thinner gauge, and I remember a long time ago, a luthier that used to work on my guitars, he said, "Dude, just bump it up to 10s when you're tuned to standard. You'll be very happy with the tone," and I did, and I was very happy ever since then. So I you know, if I am tuned to standard tuning, okay, I use 10 gauge strings. If I'm tuned a half step down, I use 11 gauge strings. Okay, so but what a half step down tuning means is that for people that don't really understand, or they're not guitar players or musicians, you tune the strings down 1 note, okay? So instead of your E being tuned to E, it'd be tuned to D sharp. Instead of tuning your string to A, you'd be tuned to G sharp and so forth. So an easier way to look at it is just tune down a little bit, and but it's pretty good. He's got a really good meaty tone. I can tell he's using the heavy gauge strings, which is quite evident in his playing, and also with his style, man. He's just, you know, I can play the pentatonic scale like he's playing, and the blues scale. I can't quite make it sound like him though, that's for sure. Okay, open and honest, I can eat some humble pie. Okay, people might say I'm good, but I ain't that good. We got some wah pedal action there. Using his middle pickup there. Interesting. I've heard a lot of blues players will use their middle pickup. I have some guitars that have 5-way switches. I would never claim to be a blues player. I've taught some blues stuff, but I've never used the middle pickup. I've always been all the way on the bridge or all the way on the neck kind of guy.
I think it's probably just the solo section. Which is a good long
right, guys, so that was a really cool piece of music history, watching Stevie Ray Vaughan do that. There's a lot of debating out there about, you know, did he take guitar lessons or not? This is my take on that, okay? Around guitar, there's a lot of misconceptions. You know, there's another great guitar player by the name of Yngwie Malmsteen, started the whole neoclassical shred movement. Phenomenal guitar player. Check him out playing with the, I believe it's the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra. Who was definitely an influence on me with my playing, but, you know, he claimed that he never took guitar lessons. The truth to this is the reality, okay? There's a lot of like folklore, a lot of urban legends and stuff. The reality is that they probably did take some lessons along the way. Now, what a lesson could be is maybe just, you know, friends who play, showing them how to tune, showing them how to do this, or showing them a few licks. It's not to take anything away from their playing. They're you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan's a legend, man. Like, you know, I've been a guitar player for 30 years, professional guitar player for me. I'm like, dude, I could play those licks, but it ain't going to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Okay, he is a legend. He's one in a million, one in a billion even. But I think one of his strongest assets is experience, okay? And this is important, guys, okay? So my understanding is that he started gigging, was it in the Austin, Texas city scene, like music scene, when he was like 16. Okay, so think about that. Experience is one of the best lessons life can give you. It's one thing to, you know, play in your room, become good playing in front of your room, or maybe in front of a couple of friends. But when you go out night after night playing, you know, in the dive bars, the crappy clubs, you get experience, not just with guitar, with about your sound, about live sound, about, you know, how adjusting the bass on your guitar adjusts the sound, changes the sound if you're playing in, you know, a room that has a concrete floor as opposed to a room that has a wooden floor. You know, how to perform, what does the audience seem to respond to, what do they not seem to respond to, how to read an audience, okay? When I would play live, I'm going to tell you guys a funny story, okay? And this might, I actually might make a video of it. I remember when I had a three-piece band and we used to play at a local club. We used to call it, it was a dive. We called it a paid practice. The owner liked us and, you know, we didn't charge him a lot. And, you know, we went in one night to play and we had our own sound system and our lighting. And it was packed, wall to wall in there. It was crazy. And, you know, the audience just was not responding to us. So, me being one of the co-front men, I said, okay, we got to do something right away to kind of change this. So, in the night, we did a song called Jet Airliner by Steve Miller, okay? And the chorus, forgive my singing voice, but big old jet airliner. Okay, so I changed the words. So I'm right on the mic, I'm booming out of the PA system, and instead I sang, big old wet vagina, okay? As soon as I did that and I changed the words, the whole place got quiet, everyone turned around, and I had them in the palm of my hands for the rest of the night. Experience teaches you those things, okay? Now, I'm not saying to always, you know, kind of use vulgarity. In this day and age, we got to be careful we don't offend people. But experience goes a long way. So you're looking at a guy with his chops, with his playing. So that was in '89. I think he was born in, I'm going to guess 54 maybe, or 52. But he had a lot of years, a lot of mileage of playing, you know, working on his licks on guitar, on stage, off stage. People tend to focus more on the folklore, but, well, he never took lessons. Well, you know, he probably did have some indirect lessons. Like his brother, Jimmy, his older brother, was a great guitar player too. He probably learned a few things from him. He probably sat down and showed him some stuff. You know, he probably met a lot of different, you know, great Texas blues players on the circuit, you know. And when you play the circuit, it's an interesting thing. I can think of a few people that are pretty famous now that, you know, I wodd play the week after they played at a certain venue playing around Ontario or Quebec in Canada. And you see their posters on the wall from the week before. And then anyway, guys, I'm kind of digressing. I'm getting into some stuff here. But what I'm saying is he had those years of slogging it out. The guitar was his priority in his life. That is what he did for a job. That's what he had to do to eat. But getting that live experience is very important as a musician because, again, it's one thing to play in your room. It's a whole other thing to play on stage. It's a whole other thing to learn all these different things about lighting, live sound, how to read an audience, They're not reacting to this song. So next song, guys, let's go into this song to get them into it, you know. There's so much to it. But one of his best weapons was those years of experience in playing the dives. And that all added up, you know, and God bless his soul. I remember when he died, it was in the news all the time and all over the place in 1990. I believe it was August of 1990. He was in the guitar magazines, you know. It was really, really sad. As Billy Joel says, only the good die young. Very sad, and but at least we had him for the time we had, and I'm really appreciating that little clip of musical history to see such a great guitar player. Again, I would have appreciated it when I was younger, not to the extent I do now, being older. So, anyway, guys, comment below. Keep giving me your suggestions and comments, and remember, practice hard, practice smart, and we'll see you soon.